Alright. Let's go ahead, grab our headset, grab our controller, and let's go ahead and record a video. You know what? Something's not right here. Now this is more like it. Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost, and on this day, 10 years ago, I started my very first Let's Play here on YouTube. Today marks the 10-year anniversary of me making videos here on the platform. I can't believe I'm saying this right now. I cannot believe I'm saying happy 10-year anniversary, because for me it does not feel like 10 years have gone by. This feels so surreal, and I have a lot of emotions right now. This is something I was not expecting to still be doing 10 years later. I didn't even know how I was going to be doing this stuff when I first started. I didn't know if I was going to be doing this past year one, past game one even, but here we are 10 years later and we are still going strong. So just like every year, we're going to have a little bit of a recap here, kind of talking about what we've done the past year, kind of what to expect next. But since this one is the big one, the 10-year anniversary, there's a couple other things I want to go ahead and talk about. So, without any further ado, I think we should go back down memory lane for the past year at least, and just talk about what we've done, and then we can go from there. So, 2020 was a year. I think everyone can agree it was definitely something that happened. There was a lot of stuff that happened for everyone. If you've been following the news, you know exactly how bad of a year it was for a lot of people, and no exceptions here. It was definitely one of the rough years, but I made do with it, and we still pumped out some pretty strong Let's Plays in that year, starting with Banjo-Tooie. This was a game I was wanting to cover on the channel for years, but I never really got around to it for quite some time, since I haven't played the game since I was a kid. It wasn't until over a year ago where I finally picked back up the game using the Xbox 360 version, played through it again, and I was feeling ready to cover the game here on YouTube, and I'm so glad I did, because that gave me a whole new appreciation for the game. It was very, very fun to go back through that, and I had a blast recording it from start to finish. And I even got some experimental moments throughout that playthrough, since I even threw in a live skit in the middle of it, just to kind of go over a memory I had growing up with the game, and I thought that was a really clever thing. I want to do stuff like that more in the future, and it looks like you guys like that too, so I may do that kind of stuff more if it's fitting for a playthrough, maybe just throw in a little live action thing and go from there. So that was a very fun playthrough. I'm glad I finally got to cover that, and that was kind of the big one for 2020, because in terms of Let's Plays, things were kind of slow because a lot of the stuff I tried to work on throughout the year and get out didn't really work out. If you want to be honest, a lot of my stuff either was getting announced for like a remake or a port of some kind, so I had to scrap that waiting on a new version, or some stuff I was recording had some technical issues and I had to scrap the footage from that. So I really only did Banjo-Tooie as a big Let's Play throughout the year, but I did also get to do some other stuff too, like Dead Space 3 along my friend Matt's OP Adventures. We're currently going through that game co-op, and since that was started last year in 2020, I can still talk about it here, and so far we are really enjoying the game. We recorded a good chunk of it, so I can at least say so far that it's been a very fun project. There's been a lot of crazy shenanigans between both of us, and honestly, I'm very glad I made the decision to record my end, because Matt was the one who approached me about recording Dead Space 3 for his channel, and originally I was just thinking, okay, let's just go ahead and do that. We record everything for your channel and leave it at that. But then I got to thinking, why don't I just record my side too, and then put that on my channel, so that way we both have a simultaneous Let's Play going on of the same game, but with two different perspectives. And it worked out great, because there's stuff I see that Matt doesn't see, and vice versa. So we've been having a lot of fun with that, and I hope you guys have been enjoying that playthrough. But Dead Space 3 marks kind of a historical first here for the channel because it's our first rated M game, and I feel like we've been handling it perfectly fine. There's a little disclaimer in the beginning, but outside of that, everything that's shown in the video is kind of raw, so it's been different. I've done rated M games on live streams before, but not in YouTube videos, and I don't really feel like it makes much of a difference. It does change up some stuff slightly for me because it can get a little more ranchy, but that's why you have a disclaimer in the very beginning, warning people about that kind of stuff, and I feel like it's been working out pretty well. So in the future, I may do more rated M games because there's some games that I do want to cover at some point that are higher up than teen, obviously, so that's something to consider at some point. But then we got to one of my magnum opus series, as I like to call it. We finally made a return to Splatoon 2. It was something I was teasing for a very long time, but we finally returned and covered the multiplayer of the game, and I was very happy with how this turned out. It took a very long time to produce, and let me tell you, that was a fun series to record, but man, it also had a lot of behind-the-scenes issues, because I tried to record that for a full year, basically, because trying to schedule with people, trying to record at different times with different modes available in the game, not the easiest thing to do, and then going through other things at the time too, like technical issues, or just maybe having to scrap something and redo it because it didn't come out that well. It took a lot longer than I anticipated. You guys can see because of how long it took to get the videos out, but I'm very glad that we did end up doing things that we did in that series. We had a new guest for pretty much every multiplayer mode. We went in depth with pretty much everything we can, making it still a showcase at the end of the day, but still showing off a good amount of the mode. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. It was a very fun thing, and that kind of brings us back around to what to expect next, because it's honestly hard to really say where we go from here, because it's been 10 years. Am I going to still be doing this for another 10? Only time will tell, but I do still have a lot of plans. I'm not stopping anytime soon, and I'm just very grateful to still be able to do this to this day. I mean, just 10 years ago, I was in that room we started this video in, just sitting down, recording with your standard headset on a laptop with this old TV tuner capture card that barely worked, and now I have a professional styled microphone connected with professional equipment running through very high-end capture cards with upscalers. Like, I've come a long way in just 10 years. I didn't even know half of this stuff existed when I first started. I didn't even know what the heck an XLR was, or what a condenser microphone is, or anything like that. I just knew, hey, I can sit down, I can record a game, and I can talk over it. So I can do this, and I can make videos about games that I grew up with. That was just really exciting to me as a concept, and now we've come a long way, because now I don't just sit down in front of a TV with a laptop running and just record games and that's it. I put a lot more time and effort into the videos, and they're more like research projects at the end of the day, because I put more time into looking up stuff, behind the scenes or beta content, showing off extra modes, going in detail with 100% in some games cases. And yeah, it's been a big transformation, and honestly, I wouldn't really be here today without everyone who has been watching over the past 10 years and supporting the channel and just helping me grow in general, leaving feedback on videos or comments, and like even just in general, all my friends that I met throughout this too. Like, you guys have been a huge help throughout the years. It's really, you can tell I'm speechless being here 10 years later. It's not something I expected. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone I've met throughout this journey here, and all my close friends that I have here on YouTube. So, huge thanks and shout outs to MistyDon132. She's the one who made the icon and my caricature that I use for a lot of my graphic work. You've done a great job with that. You've been a great friend, and thank you so much for that. I gotta thank my friends over the LPer League, like Jaretino and Saxdude26, for being great guys and helping out whenever you can. Just being chill dudes to hang out with, and helping out with a lot of different projects I've had. I greatly appreciate it. Gotta give a huge thanks to Turn Unique. She's the one who helps with a lot of my graphical works. Like, she's the one who's done my banners and icons in the past, and also she helps out with a lot of templates that I use in videos and live streams. She does a great job with a lot of the graphical work here on the channel, and I greatly appreciate all that help you've done over the years. And then, a huge shout out and thank you to my friend Matt's LP Adventures. You were the first one I met here on YouTube doing this stuff. You responded to one of my videos, and then we just started to talk back and forth. And since then, we can't stop talking. You literally can't pull us away. It's been a problem. I think we have an issue, because we talk basically every day. And you've been a huge help throughout the years with pretty much anything here on the channel. I don't think I would still be here 10 years later without your help, so I do appreciate everything that you've done. You've been a huge help behind the scenes, trying to pitch ideas to you, or maybe show you stuff before it would come out here to the public just as an extra set of eyes. And I'm glad that we've met throughout this 10-year journey. It's been an honor being a friend of yours, so thank you so much over the years, Matt. And another huge, big, and thank you to my mother as well, because she's helped a lot throughout this 10-year journey too. She's helped behind the scenes with some filming stuff and recordings in general. She's helped try to just, in general, make the channel better as well. She's given me some ideas and feedback on things that I can improve upon or maybe tweak as well. And you've been a huge help as well. And I greatly appreciate everything you have done too. So thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. But at this point, where do we go from here? It's hard to really say because anything can happen. But I think now we have to, instead of going forward, I think it's time we take a step backwards. So let's pull out our handy dandy controller and take a trip back down memory lane.